and welcome to another edition of Currently in Quincy. I'm Joe Catalano. Today, we get to chat with our very own executive director here at QATV, John Caleri, stopping by, find out what's new behind the scenes, what's coming up for the new year. First, though, we take a look at the weather and the news for you. Currently in Quincy, it's raining right now, 35 degrees, had some light snow earlier this morning. Probably have some more snow later on this afternoon into this evening. Temperatures hovering right around 40 degrees or so, dipping down into the mid-20s this evening. The first official day of winter tomorrow is going to look like it and feel like it too. Some flurries around in the morning and some clouds in the afternoon with the temperatures only in the low 30s. And then the bottom falls out tomorrow night in the temperature department. We're down to, you see it, 12 degrees, and it barely warms up on Sunday. Lots of sunshine, so it'll be a pretty looking day, but it'll be frigid with highs only in the low 20s, down to 10 degrees Sunday night, and partially recovering here on Monday with a mix of sun and clouds, and highs Monday only in the upper 20s. Looks like it'll start to moderate some into Christmas week. Maybe we'll have some flurries around here on Christmas Eve. But for right now, a little bit of rain, 35 degrees in Quincy. Checking out the news for you today, the Quincy City Council earlier this week did approve that proposed 50-year lease extension for Quarry Hills Associates to operate the Granite Links Golf Club. Now, that extension will go into effect once the current lease expires in 32 years. Amendments to the lease extension include the removal of an option for Quarry Hills to purchase 12 acres of the property for the development of a 110-room hotel. Mayoral Representative Chris Walker said that provision can be addressed in the future.
Remove in its entirety the option to sell the property. This was a tough one. We believe, the mayor believes very strongly that this is the right way to go. But in an effort to make the council, a number of councils more comfortable with the lease extension, the mayor agreed to withdraw that provision from the lease extension. It does not preclude the administration from coming back before this body, as we would have had to even while it was included in the lease, to go through a process that sort of takes that piece of property out of the mix here, but when it's ready and perhaps a little bit more fully baked, whatever plan is proposed, it will be in front of this body on its own merits alone, and we can handle that at that time as its own subject matter. And that was something that a number of councils had raised. Not, saying yea or nay, whether we should sell the property or not, but just the level of comfort that take it out as part of this process, but leave open the possibility that through a substantive public process, we could still do that.
Well, some other amendments included a revision of an advisory committee to allow for more public representation, provisions to require Quarry Hills to maintain the playing fields and walking trails, more in-depth financial auditing, and increased insurance requirements. The amendments were made based on public input during a hearing and a community meeting. The lease extension still requires state approval. Also this week, the City Council did approve almost $109 million for a new Squantum Elementary School. Mayor Thomas Koch says the over 100-year-old school desperately needs to be replaced.
Everybody understands the need for that building, that plant is in very, very challenging conditions, so it's long overdue. I remember having discussions with colleagues in government, and I would say, what do you think the next school is that we need to address? And it was, to the person, everybody said Squantum.
Wow. Okay.
So there was no real debate about that versus another building. Mm-hmm. That's the one that is in the need for replacement. So I'm glad we're moving forward, and we'll be in the ground in the spring, and it's going to be a great, it'll be the fifth new school under our administration, right, plus the DeQuista Farrar Learning Center. So good progress for the kids of our city.
Students will be housed in modular classrooms at the site beginning next fall, while a portion of the old school is demolished and construction begins on the new school. Right now, the new school is slated to open in the fall of 2027. The mayor says the state will reimburse the city for about 65% of the construction costs of the new school. That does not include $4.5 million in electrical and communications improvements around the Squantum School. Quincy man facing gun and drug charges after police seized cocaine and illegal weapons from his home and in a storage unit this week. 36-year-old Curtis Sullivan was arrested on Tuesday at his Curtis Street home. After an investigation, police say they found illegal guns, ammunition, and cocaine in his home. And more cocaine, guns, and ammunition in a Liberty Street storage unit. Police say at least one of the guns had an obliterated serial number and that the cocaine had a street value of $40,000. Sullivan was arraigned on firearms and narcotics violations in Quincy district courts. Interfaith Social Services of Quincy raised $450,000 at their annual Feed the Hungry Gala held last week at Granite Links in Quincy. 300 guests enjoyed samples from many South Shore restaurants and breweries, along with games, even a silent auction. The event smashed their goal of $400,000. Funds from Interfaith's biggest fundraiser of the year help to stock their food pantry shelves for the winter months and also support programs including their New Directions Counseling Center, homeless prevention services, and energy assistance. Every year, Interfaith distributes 143,000 bags of food and personal care products to needy families throughout Quincy and the South Shore. The annual No Shave November event at the Quincy Police Department benefited two causes this year. Officers raised $5,700 for Cops for Kids with Cancer and also $3,100 for the Daughters of Mary of Nazareth here in Quincy. Every November, Quincy police officers are allowed to break department policy and grow a beard to raise money for charity. The department's been participating in No Shave November for many years. Well, Frank Bellotti of Quincy died this week. Bellotti died on Tuesday morning at the age of 101. Bellotti served as Massachusetts Lieutenant Governor in 1962 and became the state's Attorney General from 1975 to 1987. Bellotti ran unsuccessfully for governor in 1964, 1970, and 1989. He was born in Roxbury, grew up in Dorchester, then settled here in Quincy. Bellotti graduated from Tufts University and Boston College Law School. He was a Navy SEAL during World War II. The Quincy Courthouse is named in his honor. Governor Maura Healey ordered the state's flags to fly at half-staff on Wednesday in Bellotti's memory, calling him a cherished mentor. Bellotti's wife Maggie died 2 years ago at the age of 98. The couple had 12 children, 11 of whom survive. There are 25 grandchildren and 11 great-grandchildren. A celebration of life service for Bellotti will be held at a later date. That is our check of news for you today. Coming up, we turn the cameras on ourselves here at QATV and chat with our executive director. That's next. Welcome back. I know we said back on Monday we'd be featuring the Quincy College Foundation today, but due to unforeseen circumstances, we've had to postpone that until January the 31st, so I hope you'll tune in then to learn more about that. So we reached into the bullpen for our designated guest, and we came up with the number one, our executive director, John Colery from QATV. Hey, John.
Joe, my right arm's ready to go.
Put me in, coach, right? I was going to tease folks and tell them there was going to be a special surprise guest, but then they would thought it was Santa Claus. So
yeah, exactly.
So I couldn't do that.
And I'm not much of a surprise. So.
Thanks for filling in.
Of course.
And we do want to mention the folks at Quincy College offered their sincere apologies. There were unforeseen medical issues that came up. We do want to feature the foundation. It's pretty new. It's an organization that funds student education. Mm-hmm. So we'll have Paul Barbadoro in at the chair of the foundation and another guest on January 31st. We hope.
Yep. And Quincy College has been great partners with QATV.
Oh, yeah.
we appreciate them coming in and being guests, and we appreciate that they're willing to share all the information they have with Quincy College and what's going on for the community. And we enjoy going out and covering their events. And President Christopher, Chris, we've known him for a long time with the superintendent of schools, and now with president, and he's a great supporter of QATV, so we appreciate that.
Absolutely. We're going to have Coach Raymer come over.
Yeah, that's.
We didn't have time for that.
Yeah, no, and actually, Jack Raymer, he was a teacher at Quincy High School when I was there, so I've known Jack for a long time, and we work with him getting a lot of the basketball games on QATV as well. So again, we appreciate everyone at Quincy College and glad to have them in the city.
Yeah, but this is a good chance to kind of show off a little bit, right?
Of course.
Or at least let folks know what QATV is, what it's about, what they can use it for, and what we might be doing coming up in the future.
Yeah, and it's funny, we always try to make sure people know what QATV is. Like I said, there's people moving into the city all the time, and maybe they don't know what public access TV is, or maybe there was a center that they were at and maybe might not have been as active as QATV is, which we hope we are pretty active. We think we are. So, we are here for people that live in the city of Quincy to produce their own TV programs or come in and volunteer on TV programs that staff or other volunteers produce. And if you can learn how to do a camera or learn how to edit or learn how to run the audio board or whatever it might be, there's anything that goes on behind the scenes here, we're willing to and want to teach people how to do that so they can help and get information out there. So whether it's, a show like this or a parade or a game or a cooking show, whatever it might be, we want to get that out there because we're here to tell people from Quincy about Quincy and what's going on in Quincy.
Yeah, there are 2 or 3 volunteers behind the scenes right now helping to produce this show. It just wouldn't happen without the volunteers.
Definitely not. No, and currently in Quincy is a great example of kind of a great staff volunteer partnership that we have. Frank, Kim, and Fred are out there right now helping.
Is Kim here? I wasn't sure if she came in.
Yeah, Kim's here.
Very good.
And actually, Quinn's a Quincy College student that comes in. Appreciate Kim's help, and of course Frank and Fred as well. But yeah, a good partnership where we have staff that are here to do different things, but sometimes we need that extra 3, 4, 5, 6 people to do the production. So again, like it's the football game or the parade or staff are doing 3 other productions that day, and there's a 4th that we just can't get to, and that's where we call in our bullpen and see if someone can help us out and cover that whatever it might be.
Yeah, and the way technology has advanced now, you don't need to be a videographer to be able to go out and cover something. All you need is a smartphone.
Ultimately, that's one thing you can do. So, and we can teach people how to use your smartphone, correctly, quote unquote.
Yes. For TV.
For TV, exactly. Yeah. So you can get out there and just so how it looks, but also we can say, get a little bit closer. Here's a microphone or different things like that, some tips and tricks to make it look better. Or we can say, do you have a bigger camera? Do you have something a little bit more, oomph and power behind it? And yes, we do. So we can train you how to use that, and you can use that as well.
Absolutely, and it works out great, and it allows us to bring things that happen across the city to viewers all year long.
Exactly, and one of the longtime mottos of Quincy Access TV is members make the difference, and the members are, again, our volunteers and people that live in the community, and we wouldn't be able to do this without all those volunteers. And I want to say thank you to all the volunteers. Again, like the people that are in the studio, the people that come in, maybe it's once a month, maybe it's once every 2 months, maybe it's 3 times a week that they come in and produce the shows or volunteer in the shows. We are a nonprofit organization. People know that nonprofits rely on volunteers. We're the same thing. So we have a small staff, but all the volunteers that come in and help us out, we truly appreciate it. And they love coming in and helping people learn about Quincy and get the information out, or again, producing their own show because they have a passion that they want to express that to the community as well. And then they show it on QATV, but then they can put it on YouTube, they can put it on Facebook, or wherever the social media they can be as well, so they can get it out to the entire world as well, not just people that are here in Quincy.
It's theirs. It's their baby, right?
It's their intellectual property. So they come in and they use our equipment or they use our broadcasting facilities to show it to people. But it's they're the producer / director of it. They own that intellectual property. So they're sharing it with us, so we can again share it with the community. But they're their own Steven Spielberg, that they have that in their back pocket to show.
The past month, I would argue, would be about the busiest time of year for us, for sure, just based on all the activities that go on throughout the city. You mentioned some of the bigger ones, Thanksgiving football, the Veterans Day parade, the Christmas parade, certainly, all the different community holiday celebrations. Those we could not do without those volunteers. There's
100%.
no way. Yeah.
Yeah. The middle of November to kind of the first week of December,
Yep.
first week and a half, it's definitely a very busy time for us. Veterans Day Parade, Christmas Parade, 2 parades. Again, we have a lot of people come out and help
Yes.
us out like that. And it's important to the city of Quincy as well for us to show that, but people that can't get out because it's cold or physical abilities or whatever it might be.
The veterans events particularly, right? Because some of those
Yeah.
folks are older. have
Exactly.
some
So
physical
for them to
challenges,
be
yeah.
able to sit at home and be able to, feel honored for those veterans that have served but can't get to the ceremony, or loved ones that are veterans and they can see what the city of Quincy is doing for that. So they can see the parade, they can see, the great honoring and the speeches, that were done this year and every year for the Veterans Day Parade.
Yeah.
Just get out there and do that. And then, big parades like the Christmas Parade, that's, the annual tradition. Maybe it's a little too cold for some people to get out there, or for whatever reason, they're maybe the grandkids are at home and they're watching it while son and daughter go out to watch the parade, something along those lines.
That's probably more true.
Exactly. But we want to bring that out to people like that as well, because again, it's kicking off a big time here in the city of Quincy, and of course, Christmas is a big time for a lot
Yes.
of people. So we want to be able to share that and have everyone be involved, so they feel like I couldn't get to the parade this year. Well, you can watch it on TV and still. It's not as great as being there in
Right.
person to see everything
Right.
go by, but at least you can say, oh, wow, I saw the parade, I saw all that,
Right.
and see what's happening.
Yeah, and I know we see that particularly with the Thanksgiving football game because folks are all around the country, but
Yep.
they're still tied to Quincy, especially on Thanksgiving Day.
100%.
Yeah.
I get a lot of feedback from people saying that I'm traveling to visit, relatives in Florida this year,
Right.
but I really want to watch the game. It's like, well, we can do that. Or I live in Quincy, but I'm cooking dinner, so when people come home from the game, we can have a nice warm meal to eat.
Right.
So they turn on the game in the background,
Yeah.
they're watching it. And this year, of course, was one of the all-time games, if not maybe the all-time game between the two schools.
Yeah.
So it was fun that we were able to do everything for that, get it out there. Of course, it was a rainy day, so a lot of people were like, "Oh man, I'm just gonna skip going," and maybe they came out later because they saw how good of a game it was,
Yep.
or they did stay home so they could stay dry. Turn on Channel 8 or the HD channel 1072
Yeah.
and see it, or again go onto their website
streaming as well.
and watch it like that as well.
Yeah.
And again, it was one of the classic
Wow.
all-time games, and
Yeah.
a lot of people watched it on QATV and on our live stream, but people saw highlights of it on ESPN or Channel 4 or Channel 5. I was told it was on Good Morning America. They
Oh, is
were
that
talking
right?
about that final Hail Mary play
Yep.
that we were able to share that out there. And when, again, going back to our volunteers,
Yeah.
seeing that, hey, I worked on that game.
That's
that was
right.
the best play in the country as dedicated by ESPN. It was pretty cool. And I woke up the next morning to a text message saying, "Did you see this?" And I was like, "What did I see? What?" And I was like, "Oh my goodness!"
Yes.
So
yeah.
it was
all the major networks picked it up as well as the local stations.
Yep.
I know
So-
reached out to ask for permission to use it.
Yep.
So feather in our cap. Even the mayor congratulated us on
Yep.
on being there and catching that.
So so things like that it's good footage. Sometimes too, they say, "Oh wow, that blurry game that you can't use the footage for."
Right.
I got so many compliments about our coverage for that game, and Ryan McWade, who's one of
Yeah.
our staff members, who was on camera. He was the only camera that day because of the rain.
Right.
So he did a fantastic job,
Did.
and I don't know how many people have said, "Wow, the camera work was unbelievable. It was great, and it was smooth." I have to give credit again to another longtime volunteer, Peter Doherty, who was
Yes.
directing in the truck.
Yep.
Anna El Torre, another longtime volunteer who was on graphics. Michael Jarvie was in truck technical directing. Brian Cox, Chris Potter were in the truck. And I know I'm forgetting somebody else that was in the truck there as well. But it was just, again, a team effort where it was one of those games where everything just came together smooth. And it was just, nothing went wrong where I might be in the booth and going, "Oh, I did a bad job on that. Or we kind of missed
Yes.
that." Everything just went smooth along. The pregame show that we had that was hosted and co-produced by Steve Mays and Scott Campbell and myself, that went smooth. We were trying to figure out what we were going to do with all the rain
Right.
to still have it. Things came together. The
Yeah.
guests came in. Steve and Scott did a great job. They're really pushing behind it, the scenes to the pregame show, and a lot of people love watching the pregame show as well because they get to interview, the coaches, the principals, the mayors, some student representatives. So it's a huge day for the city of Quincy with everyone coming together, and for us to then kind of help and piece that together and tell the story of the pregame and then the game itself.
Right.
It it was one of my favorite days of the year.
Was it really? Yeah.
Thanksgiving's always one of my favorite games or days because of the game and
Yep.
the Thanksgiving holiday itself. But this was one of just this year. I think that day, just how everything went, it was
Just
really good.
so good for everybody that was involved to be able to know that they did such a good job, and then for the city to have that recorded for all time. You know,
Well,
as
it was
well.
great.
and for the players as well.
Exactly, and that's what I was going to say. You know, seeing the stories that they were like, oh wow, this is a great game between Quincy and North Quincy,
Yeah.
and then Channel 4 did a nice piece,
Yeah.
you know, interviewing the North Quincy players about that, and seeing them get put in the spotlight. And the Patriots named Coach Craig the
That's
coach
right.
of the week for
Yeah,
that
yeah.
as well, and they highlighted that. So it was just great to see the city of Quincy in the spotlight. For
Yeah,
that.
absolutely. So, 2025 is right around the corner.
Unbelievable.
What's going to be happening here at QATV?
Well, of course, everyone in the city is going to be focusing on Quincy 400, and we will be doing the same as well.
Yeah.
So we're going to be trying to get out to as many of the events that are going to be Quincy 400 themed and related as best we can. We have something coming up that you and I are going to be doing. It'll be a nice little segment coming up in the beginning of the new year, talking about a new historic museum that's at Quincy City Hall, related to Quincy 300, so the 300th anniversary 100
Yeah,
years ago.
apparently it was a big party back then.
Yeah, and so and it seems like it came there very quickly.
Really
as well.
quickly, yeah.
So hopefully we're going to be talking to the mayor and Bob Damon about that.
Oh, I'm glad you reminded me. The mayor will be on this program on January 3rd.
That's right.
Yes. to
So
talk about
that'll be another Quincy 400 preview,
It's-
hopefully things like that as
exactly,
well.
yeah.
So different things like that. Working with the library to do a couple different things, hopefully through the year. And of course, again, there's going to be big events that have been teased a little bit, and we're still trying to get all the information as well, and the dates and stuff like that. I know there's going to be a Quincy 400 concert. The Quincy Symphony Orchestra is going to be performing, I think, with the Choral Society
believe
as
that's
well.
right, yeah.
And then, I've been told there's going to be a pretty big size parade
Yes.
as well. So different things like that.
Yeah.
We'll be
couple of
covering.
fireworks displays.
So
I think.
hopefully, we want to take part in that as well. And hopefully,
course,
we'll be
yeah.
telling a little bit more of the story of Quincy 400 and Quincy as well, with some different things that we're trying to work on and see what we can put together. So not just here's the parade or here's the fireworks, but
right.
some of the other background. Again, the Quincy 300 story and how that leads up to the city of Quincy as well, and
Yeah.
the settlement of Mount Wollaston and becoming a town and a city and where we are today.
That's right. That's the celebration is the settlement of Mount Wollaston. It's
Right.
not really the city of Quincy being incorporated 400 years ago.
Right,
It started as Captain Wollaston,
say
right? Kind of crashing
Captain
into Marymount.
Yeah, I was just going to say Captain Wollaston coming to Marymount,
Yeah.
and it's funny how Wollaston and Marymount, still together today.
Right.
The city knows that,
Yeah.
and that part, and how it got settled, and so we'll be focusing on that for one of the big things for Quincy 400.
And that'll open up a lot of opportunities for volunteers and members to help out.
Definitely,
with all those
definitely.
productions as well. Yeah.
Yep, yeah, so definitely people that are interested in looking to help out with that, we encourage you to give us a call or visit our website for more information. And whether, again, it's Quincy 400 or just, I think I want to cover a soccer game,
Yes.
or I want to cover that community meeting,
Yep.
or I want to, do my own show. So whatever it might be,
Whatever, yeah.
we're here to do that and hopefully help to get it done.
I'm glad you mentioned Ryan McWade, because we really should focus on how great he's been working with the schools and being able to feature so many programs that the schools do. Right now it's all the holiday concerts, of
Yep.
course, but throughout the year, different events at different schools. Since I've been here, it's 16 years, we've never done as much with the schools. You've been here even longer, so is that about right?
It's about right, yeah. And normally, the schools had kind of their own person that were going around, and Ryan, we've kind of embedded him, if you will, in the Quincy Public Schools. So, like you said, right now he's going out to as many of the winter concerts as he can do and cover, and editing them to get them out before the holidays go. But then going into the schools and featuring students or administrative staff or people that work in the school and things like that, to
Yes.
say, here are all the things that are going on in Quincy Public Schools and the great things that are happening, and talk about them, to let people know what's happening besides just, I know there's sports. Well, there's so many other different things that are going on, and,
Right.
and the people that are behind the scenes, and,
There's
maybe they don't
drama
know.
clubs,
Yeah, and-
the robotics club, you name it.
And maybe they don't know that there's, a sixth grader at Point Middle School that has just been awarded an award or did a really great project or did something different at the different schools. So Ryan's done a great job kind of going around. And he also does all the school committee meetings as well to
That's
make sure
right.
those are out and about
Yeah.
for people to watch and see too.
Another Quincy College grad.
Yep, Ryan Quincy College. Yep,
as well.
definitely.
You
Yeah.
should mention, sure. So, what else for the new year that we need to know about?
Well,
Twas the night.
But yes, that's the thing. Not necessarily the New Year, but all the holiday programming
Yes.
that we have going. We should mention we're going to have a holiday marathon that's going to be, I think, beginning on Christmas Eve and going all the way through Christmas Day.
Michael confirmed,
I was
yes.
going to say, Michael Jarvie, who's our programming media specialist and programmer, he's going to yell at me if I'm giving him too much to do or more to marathon. But so people can watch all the different holiday programming from present and past as well. We like to throw in some different things that people have seen. So maybe it's an old Christmas parade or an old, like you said, we always read Twas the Night Before Christmas. That's been a long-standing tradition at QATV since before I was involved at QATV.
Wow. Yep.
So it's almost coming up on 30 years now that they've been doing that. 2026 will be our 30th anniversary.
Oh, okay.
So just around the corner for that as well. But yeah, so different things like that. People can see the different holiday programming and catch the football game again or the Christmas parade, or we have a special Quincy in Focus holiday edition.
Oh, fun. Okay.
With the lighting of the green and the 'Tis the Season concert. The Quincy Choral Society, member Scott Daniels went and recorded recently
Super.
at ENC. So that was a great concert. They performed the Messiah. Scott had an interest in doing that, went down and recorded it for us, and then we were able to put it together.
Great example.
Yep,
yeah.
exactly. So different things like that, and that's another long tradition that we've done for holiday programming. So people can tune into QATV over the Christmas day and see everything that's holiday Christmas related.
Merry Christmas. Happy New Year.
Thank you, same to you,
Thanks,
Joe.
John.
And
Thanks.
thank you to all of our volunteers and staff as well. We appreciate everything you've done throughout the entire year.
It's going to be a messy day today, mix of rain and snow throughout the afternoon with temperatures in the upper 30s. A change over to snow this evening. Could have a couple of inches of this stuff by tomorrow afternoon, with temperatures tomorrow starting to fall off into the single digits or close to it by tomorrow night. Sunny on Sunday, but look at that bitter cold blast of air. Well, not going to last too long, though. We're back into the upper 20s and then probably 40 degrees or so by Christmas Day, so that's good news. Thanks again to John Cleary for stopping by.
Thank you.
I know you had to travel a long way to get here today. Thanks
I'll
a
make
lot.
do.
Thanks to our crew, by the way, and thank you for watching. Monday here in the program, Veterans Advocate Robert Notch is stopping by. We're talking more about the HERO Act. Meantime, of course, our website's QATV.org. All of our latest programs, news, information, video on demand, live streaming, much more. For all of us here at QATV, I'm Joe Catalano. Have a great weekend.